Boom.
Pre-boom boom.
Apologies
Probably.
for the lateness yet again. It's not technical. I was just taking my time.
No, we're getting our shit
We're
together.
getting our shit together.
We gotta
Dude,
get our shit
I
together. Yes.
will, when we do the live, I will open these boxes because I should have
Yeah.
done it on the live. There's some nice stuff in here.
Yeah, that's it's so cool. I was yeah, when you sent me that video, I'm like, ooh, that's cool, man. Those are keepers.
They're nice, aren't they? Like they're
They're
really
very
nice.
nice.
I'm going to read them really soon as well and do some little video reviews.
Yeah, I mean, part of the hobby is the way it's presented, right? That's part of like
Very
I
much
want
so.
it in the box set or I want it in the
Wow.
absolute, but like that's neat.
I was looking at them going like, where am I going to put them on the shelf? Because I'd have to take them out of the at the boxes to put them on the shelves. But I'm not going to. I'm going to keep them in the boxes and keep them together
Yeah.
under T. Even though, they're titled things that aren't beginning with T.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
I
My
don't know
mom
if
is
anyone's
saying
on yet.
hello.
Hello, Mum.
Hello. Are you? Let me see. I don't know if she's watching. Maybe she needs me for something else.
I was going to turn you down a little.
Okay.
Don't want it giving reverb on the reverb, you know what I mean? Boom, we got a Scrubs in the hills. And a Trunks in the hills. Back from the
Yes, my
Francis.
mom is on. She says hello to everybody.
Oh.
She doesn't know how to message on the. I think she watches it on her TV.
Oh, do you see the
Yeah.
message? Do you see the
She sees all the messages, but she
apologies
sees.
on behalf of Omega Bread for those messages?
I think she finds it funny. She's okay with other people being vulgar as long as it's not me.
Okay. So I
Yeah.
can do it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, good.
It's funny when you do it. It's funny when my wife does it, not when I do it.
Okay.
It's not me. Okay.
Oh,
And
So I
that's
can do
my
it.
phone on
Oh,
full
yeah.
blast. Hold on. Sorry, everybody.
speaking of bread, here he is. Yes, we're doing well, thank you, sir. Hope you are too. Oh.
All right, we're back.
Oh.
Hey, 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 everybody. We got Omega Bread. We got BC Scrubs. Meat Trunks. All right. Boom.
Got the
Who are we
logo on the
missing?
wrong side.
We're missing Reed Reeds.
Reed Reeds is sometimes here. We sometimes get the Marvel Man. We sometimes get
Yep,
a little bit of
Yansum.
Yansum. Hang on,
Yep.
I'm gonna do a risky move. Bear with me.
Okay. I can hear you.
In the front,
But
say hey ho.
now it's better. Before it sounded tinny, but now you're back.
Did it? I think
Yeah.
it was pulling on the cable. So, oh, it's doing that thing where it gives you a corner. No. It's fine. We're good. No, it's doing it. Doink. There, it's fine. Okay. Howdy, duties. Hope you're all pulling.
Mrs. Anthony. That's so funny.
Hope you're all
Yeah.
doing good in your respective lands. God, it is fully international. It always just amuses me how international this is when we record.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah. And it's just cool. We got the usual suspects every week hanging out together. It's nice.
Yeah.
I look forward to it.
I'll pull
This
that
is
cable later, Scrubs, will I? After
it's
the show.
it really feels like a speakeasy, right? It's like a little club.
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
Yeah.
It's cool.
If you don't get out,
Yeah. No bots, please.
your name's not down, you're not coming in.
Pulling on the cable is a whole different life.
You're off to London, Bread, in 2 weeks? What are you doing? Omniverse only fans. What are you doing in London, dude? I want to know what he's doing.
He's typing.
Oh,
It's so
the time
funny that-
delay's killer.
Yeah, I know. You don't even see the dots on here. I'm
You're
going
going to an
oh,
Arsenal match.
nice.
I need to take the piss. Who's the opposite of Arsenal? Is it Tottenham? I don't know. I don't do footballs. I don't do the footballs.
Yansum, there he is.
There
Hey,
we
guys.
go.
All right.
It's like
now
we conjured him, like Beetlejuice.
Yeah. We were just talking about you, Yansum, saying, where's Yansum? Who are we missing?
Right, hang on. I'm just going to click off something because it's. There we go. That was really distracting.
Shall we begin?
I'm ready when you are.
Our second incoming of the year.
Yeah,
Right.
it is.
Already.
Technically.
Shit. Technically.
Because,
All right. All right. Don't forget to shout out the omniversecomics.guide, Eric. Been doing that lately. Okay, here we go. And 4, 3, 2. What are you doing? 4, 3, 2, 1. And boom. Welcome back, everybody, to the Omniverse Comics Guide podcast. We are your Omniverse Comics Guide guys. I am Eric Anthony, one of your co-hosts, and somewhere in the background is, I think he's been a bad boy.
I'm doing the show from here tonight, dude.
That's my pal Dave Molyneux. How you doing, pal? Why are you in the corner? You a bad boy today?
I've been naughty, so I thought I'd give you some distance. Apparently I'm a bad influence on you.
You know what? It's okay. The influence has already been done. The damage is done.
Really?
There's no coming back. Yeah. You could come
Okay.
closer. You could come closer. Don't worry. You've introduced me to Omega Bread, the type of things he's put into my head during our podcasts. Unspeakable things that you can never forget, right? So here we are.
This is true.
Dave, how you doing, pal?
I'm mighty fine, thanks, sir. How are you?
I'm doing okay. You know what? I'm showcasing my new glasses this week that I just got. And I can finally see clearly again. Because the glasses I've had before were just like a fog. So it's quite nice to be able to see you pretty on the screen tonight, Dave.
Oh, shucks, you big liar.
This isn't a dating podcast. This is a comic book podcast. So thank you to everybody that's hanging out with us on Twitch and watching us on YouTube, listening to us on your different podcast platforms. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe button. It always helps get the word out. More people can watch, and it helps us make a better show. But most importantly, visit us at omniversecomics.guide.
What's there?
What's there? Let me tell you what's there. You got all our podcast episodes, interviews, collector item specials. I always see CIS. I got the anagram in my head. That's not what it means. What else do we have there? We've got our interviews, our collector item specials, our reading orders, which I always say are second to none.
Oh, yes, thank you.
They are excellent, and I actually have used them myself in preparation for some of my interviews or episodes. So if you want to find a reading order for an event that you want to know what not to miss or what is maybe skippable, but you want to know the order of things, no better place to look than omniversecomics.guide. We got reviews, you name it, you might find it there. Check us out, and we really appreciate the support. Now, Dave, is there anything in the mailbox this week?
Now, there isn't anything in the mailbox. However, as an extension of last week, when I opened up these babies, and they were looking pretty fine. They're from Gungnir Books, and it says Tales from the Old Fathers. And I thought it was like, oh, this is cool. We got two copies. We got two copies here. That's nice. I managed to open them up after the show. I'll do. Ooh, here we go.
Ooh.
It's a copy of Mutant Cats, which is a nice little bit of indie comics action.
I like that.
Can't go wrong there.
That's a great. I mean, for collectors like us,
well.
we love the way things are packaged and presented. That's part of the charm of collecting, right? How is the actual, like, what's the product, the book, or the art?
The book looks lovely. I haven't read it yet, so I'm going to read them, and I'll do some video reviews this year, because I wanted to go back to doing a few quick hit video reviews on things. But the art is cool. I'm really liking it, and it's got my whole dark, messed up, but anthropomorphic animals feel going on. So, can't go wrong. And in this one, we've got Chupacabra.
That looks cool.
Which has a whole different vibe to it. Looks a little anime-esque, manga-esque.
Yeah. Who are the creators?
The creators on Chupacabra are the following people. It is the following. Bear with me. I wasn't ready for your question. So, I can't see. I haven't got my glasses on. Matthew Medney. We've got Eric Bromberg. Fernando Rodriguez Villa, I think. I don't have my glasses on. But, yes, it's just some nice indie stuff from these creators on Mutant Cats. Mutant Cats is by Creators, Mutant Cats and Hero Projects. But it's written by Morgan Rosenblum, Matthew Medney again, and there's art by Alex Arizmendi. I hope.
I've never heard of these. Like,
No.
That's the beautiful product, though.
Isn't it?
That's really nice. Yeah, very nice.
Nice spot lamb on that as well. Ooh, a little
Yeah.
spot lamb and like a bit of that, one shiny bit in the middle. I'm sold, mate.
Yeah, thank you for for sending that to us. We
Thank
appreciate
you
it. That's great.
so much. They are really,
Yes.
really lovely books. So yeah, I'll be doing some reviews very, very shortly, giving them a proper bit of spotlight.
Beautiful. I like it. Incoming February 2025. You got a bunch of things incoming yourself?
Yeah.
You're looking forward to?
I'm
Yeah?
looking
Okay.
forward to something coming in. Can't wait. I love a bit of that action. Have you?
There are definitely things that we've discussed on previous shows that their releases are finally, rounding that corner. So I've got my eye on stuff that I don't know if I'm going to buy them next month, but they're definitely on my to-buy list for sure. So a couple
Nice.
of things that I've maybe have read digitally that I can recommend. Some things I might go blind on completely, or
Oh, hopefully not. That would suck. You're gonna be able to finish it.
what do you mean? I missed the joke.
Did you really?
I did. I completely missed
A
the
few
joke.
things you might go blind on. Don't worry about it.
Oh, yes, I got it now. I'm an idiot. Anyways. Yeah, and things that I own already that I could also recommend to people listening or watching. So, yes, that's how I do it. Go ahead, Dave.
So I'm just laughing at the comments. Just more highly inappropriate stuff
I know they're
from
talking
Omega
about.
Bread.
You know what? It's part of the balancing act of doing this thing is that I read that stuff while they're messaging, and I'm just like, and then I gotta come back and be serious
Yeah.
and know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So, pardon me. Maybe we got to do a little.
Why start now, dude?
Right. Anyways, yes, February. There's a couple things that are coming out.
Cool.
Let's
Cool.
get it.
Excellent. Do you want to get cracking? Do you want to crack one off first, or shall I?
All right. I'm gonna steal one from you probably
Do it.
right off the hop. Pardon me, but it's because of your recommendation of it during our Brewbaker episode, and that's Killer Be Killed.
Yes, I'm
The
glad you chose it.
compendium is coming out February 25th. I've had my eye actually on a few image compendiums the last little bit because I really enjoyed reading Deadly Class, in its in completed form. So it's got me more interested in like, okay, you got Fatale, you got Killer Be Killed, Revival. It's never dropped in price. I don't want to pay full pop for any of these things because, I'd rather buy 2 books instead of 1 book. But
Fair.
all of these books I've got my eye on them. So
So you've
Killer
not
Be
picked
Killed.
up Revival yet?
Haven't picked it up. I'm just waiting for just some
You'll
sort
get
of a
there.
quick,
You'll get there.
yeah, a quick day sale, something like that.
Yeah.
But definitely on the list, and of course because of your good reviews of these books, you're not overly critical about things, but when you really really like something and give it a 5-star, it's rare. So those
Yeah.
5 stars, I always like, okay, these count to me, which I appreciate the rarity of when you give out a really high rating. So this is Killer Be Killed. You said I think you gave it 5 or
I
a
did.
couple of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in total, yeah.
Yeah, so definitely on the list. Brubaker, Sean Phillips,
Mm-hmm.
and it's adult content. Just so
Yeah.
we're so any kids watching this isn't for the kids, it's for adults. But
Judge the title correctly. If it's got kill in it, it's probably not going to be for your kids.
exactly, so you can't go wrong. Like if you want to know more about some of the ins and outs of Killer Be Killed, listen to the Ed Brubaker podcast.
Yeah.
There's a top 10 on him, but Dave goes into a little more detail, no spoilers, but it definitely sold me on this book. For
Cool.
sure.
It's worthy. It's a worthy pick, and it's a really good. To see it in February, I would argue that it's probably the book to pick up in February.
It's at the top of my list.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, rightly so.
All right.
Wow.
Easy first pickings.
Wasn't it? God, that was.
Yes.
You were so smooth.
Low hanging fruit.
I didn't know if you had smooth low-hanging fruit, but my first choice for tonight is, thanks for the share, is Daredevil Born Again, the Marvel Premiere Collection. So the Marvel Premiere Collection are the smaller size books. They're kind of like your novel size books. So they're probably Marvel and DC trying to hop onto the manga size market thinking that might be it might well, I'm not, that sounded really cynical, thinking that's the answer, it's the size of the book. It might well be the answer, and it'll be interesting to see how these sell, but they're going for a lot of their classic big well-known stories and releasing them in this size. And I'm really, really glad to see Daredevil being one of the first, Born Again specifically, being one of the first ones that they're collecting. It's not just my favorite Daredevil story, it's one of my favorite stories in comics of all time.
Yeah, deservedly so.
It's aged well, really well. I know there's like some controversy around Frank Miller these days. I don't even 100% know what the controversy is. There's this whole thing about not liking things because somebody wrote it. I'm going to have to burn all my Sandman comics now. But other people also worked on those books. So, and if something's good, it's good. You don't blame the book. Blame the knobhead who wrote them. But Born Again is a real turning point in Daredevil, and it's so weird to think that severe, sharp turn came with a brief comeback, because Frank Miller was on the title years earlier. I can't remember when he actually came away from Daredevil. It was like 82, 83. And he'd been away for about 3-4 years, I think, and came back, and he did this story that just knocked everyone for six. So this is around the time that you've got books like Watchmen and Mouse and Squadron Supreme and all these things that are now considered real turning points in comics history. Born Again is easily up there. I think it gets forgotten because I think people veer more towards Dark Knight Returns. This kicks the shit out of the Dark Knight Returns. Like, it takes it outside into an alley and it punches it repeatedly in the face until the knuckles are touching the back of the skull. That's how much better it is. Clip this.
Clip this. That's perfect. I mean, I hear you. I don't necessarily share the opinion, but it definitely would be in that fight in the alleyway with Dark Knight Returns. Like, for me, it's a worthy book in that pantheon of the books you've mentioned that were coming out during that time, that were changing the way you could tell story, the chances that they were taking, kind of doing stuff that was for a more mature audience, a little bit more sophisticated. I mean, there's parts of Born Again that are of its time, as far as like it wraps up real quick and like him and
it is fast.
There's a certain pace at the end that but that's the comic books of it.
Well, it's a superhero comic, but it doesn't feel like a superhero comic for 75-80% of the story. He's not even in costume or anything, and it's like what they did to there are some people still out there who can't forgive what he did to Karen Page just to make the story happen. But is it a great story? Like, this is the kind of thing that really set the tone, more so than his original run, for all its length and all its varied amazingness, and Elektra and Bullseye being what Bullseye became in that, instead of a dude firing Daredevil out of a giant crossbow and silly stuff like that, which is fun in its own way, but he turned Bullseye into a threat. The Kingpin Daredevil feud really began in his original run. There's so many great stories, but nothing comes close to Born Again. Nothing comes close. And arguably, nothing ever comes close again in Daredevil afterwards. But a lot of things, there's still greatness. But that is probably more the inspiration for stuff like the Bendis run and the Brubaker run that worked so well, because it was superhero comics for grown-ups.
I got a comic speakeasy question for you that just came into my head. I don't know if we've asked it before, but maybe I'll save it. And if I've asked it before, we'll skip it.
I won't remember. I just
hope I don't forget it now.
It might be, write it down.
Yeah, let me write it down.
There you go.
Right, yeah.
I'll give you a sec to write that down. But I'm done. I'm spent. So I'm not spent. That was good. So it's the very small sized Marvel Premier Collection version of Daredevil Born Again. There's a lot of scrolling happening here. Bear with me. 280 pages, paperback. And it's a thing of absolute beauty. A lot of people don't realize there's technically a crossover issue that's in Amazing Spider-Man. I will be including it when I do the Born Again reading order. But if you haven't read Born Again, don't read the reading order. just go read Born Again. Like, it's issues 226 to 233 from the mid 80s. It's great. It's so good.
Yeah, it's deserving of the hype. I mean, again, Mazzucchelli, Miller. Mazzucchelli doesn't have a huge catalog of comics as far as I know, but what he did, the impact he had,
Yeah.
and the way people have tried to tap into that sense of storytelling, pacing. It's not superhero detailed the way John Byrne or George Perez was at the time, but there's something about it that is
It's
just
very
like,
noir and gritty, but it isn't. Like, it's really hard to define it. Because, I mean, I forgot to mention David Mazzucchelli, which is a real shame, because that was really stupid of me. And this could go on for another 10 minutes just talking about him, but I promise I won't. But Year One, Batman Year One, Daredevil Born Again, and he did some other independent stuff, and now I can't remember. It's something Polyp, and I can't remember the name of the book. But there's a few books he's done, but not that many in the comics industry. I think he went and did other stuff after a bit. But
Yeah.
the work he did do is just standout. It's so good. There's even a brilliant Daredevil cover he did that's not even got his art inside, and I think it's Two Gun Kid behind him, or so. I think it's Two Gun Kid, and it's Daredevil leaping at some criminals, and it's just one of my favorite covers ever. He's just nails the tone.
Yeah, there's some folks in the comments who said that they hadn't read this story before, and you don't really got to be a fan of a character when certain stories are like, they're just part of the fabric of comic book lore, and like these are certain books are just like to read books at some point in time in your comic book reading you're collecting. Like you just got to get around to it eventually, because it's one of those books. You may hate it, but check it out, because it's see what the fuss is about. And like myself, I read it after it had gained its legendary status, because it was out, I think I was a baby, right? So I read it years later. I was
10 or something, but I didn't read it then. I read it when I was 14 and went, okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready.
Yeah. It's kind of like for me, it's kind of like, not saying it's comparable, if you want to say it is.
To Wonder Boy.
To kind of how, when you read Kraven's Last Hunt, you read it the first time, you're like, okay, like, yeah, it's crazy.
Especially if you're little.
Yeah, it's like, okay, like it's scary. But as you get older and you read it and you understand a little bit more of psyche and dark places of the mind, you read that and you're like, holy shit, this is wild.
That's it. In the context of these stories, for on the newsstand, for potentially little kids picking them up, it makes you wonder in hindsight, how did any of this get approved?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for real. But I like these little additions they're doing. I think it's a great idea for entry-level people who want to read and see what they might like, or read a good story. I think it's a great option for people to have. I think the more ways that you can step into the hobby, the better.
Yeah.
And I think it's very intimidating when you go to the graphic novel section of a bookstore or to a comic book shop, and you've got all these options to pick of Avengers, New Avengers, Uncanny Avengers, this Avengers, Mighty Avengers. Like, which one do I want to read now? I don't know. Do you have volume 3 of the... This gives you the must-read stories, which I think are...
Yeah, these are the keynotes in the Marvel Universe, so it's a good pickup.
Nice. I like that. Good shout to the format as well. I think that's a good thing to keep in mind.
Yeah, it's worth knowing.
Especially, like I was mentioning, my pal who's getting into the hobby, he's buying absolutes, and I'm like, don't go to the absolutes for the first read.
No.
This thing is $10, $13 here. I don't know what it would be in pounds, but this is a good way to see if you don't like it, you don't got to keep going. It's not that investment of... This is a great option.
If he's loving it, let's just leave him.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, get right into the omnibuses and absolutes.
So what have you got for your number 2 drop off, dude?
Number 2, I'm going to go pretty obvious. Geiger Volume 2 is coming out. Jeff Johns, Gary Frank. So you had the first part of Geiger was a 6-issue miniseries that is kind of an introduction to the character and this universe, the unknown universe that they're all kind of connected to. This now is the beginning of like the ongoing series that we there's no time of when it's going to end. It might go to 100 issues. Jeff was saying on this on our interview that he doesn't have a limit. He knows it has an end, but this is volume 2 of the whole Geiger run, I guess you could say, but the first 6 issues of, I guess, the official series.
Yeah. Oh, is it? Oh, I thought it was issues 7 to 12 or something.
I could be wrong, but I think it's renumbered number 1 to 6 ongoing at this point. Because Geiger had come out a number of years ago. I think it was
did,
like
yeah.
2020, 2019 maybe. I could be wrong, but yeah. So I feel like that was its own little miniseries for a bit, and now they found a way to keep it going in a undetermined number of issues. So I feel it's very much worth your while to pick up volume 1, even though this is the first 6. I would compare it to this. You got Man of Steel 1 to 6, and then Superman number 1.
Yeah.
Read Man of Steel 1 to 6.
That's what they've done. You're absolutely right.
Right?
I didn't realize they'd volume 2'd it, but yeah.
Yeah. So it seems a little confusing, but the volume 1 helps. Like we were just mentioning in the previous, like, where do you start? Just go with the numbering of the graphic novels and you'll be okay. So yeah, this is their continued story. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Of the Ghost Machine stuff that had come out in 2024, I was trying to decide like which would be my favorite series. My favorite was Redcoat, but this one here, what I like about it is that Jeff, in the characters he's worked with, he's given them somebody to travel with, somebody to tell their story alongside.
Yeah.
Which is kind of in that Archer and Armstrong kind of vibe that I really enjoy lately, of that buddy. So in this one, he's done that with Geiger, which is kind of fun because the character in the first volume, I guess this is a spoiler, but he's a loner, right? He's a guy that is dangerous to be around. That's the premise of the character. Why? How did this guy come to be? So now to have him have a companion, it makes for a different type of story that you can tell while they're, on the road, sort of thing. So check it out. It's a lot of fun. Gary Frank and Jeff Johns, you can't go wrong.
No.
So it's going to be worth the value of your purchase for sure.
I mean, I'm really, really excited to read this. It's actually 1 to 6, and it includes a story from Geiger 80-page giant. So if you're doing it in the paperback version, I think the 80-page giant was in the deluxe, which was like they're saying in the chat as well. A few people are saying that it was really, really reasonably priced. Omega Breda thinks it's a beautiful book and very reasonably priced too. But if you go in the paperback route, again, it's actually nicely priced. Yeah, you get issues 1 to 6 and some of the 80-page giant, and it's paperback and 176 pages. The subtitle for it is Geiger Volume 2, The Nuclear Night. So if you're unsure,
that's right.
If you search for that full title, you'll find it.
Yeah. No, it's a fun one. It's a great line of comics. We say it every week. The Ghost Machine is a very safe bet if you want to try something off the beaten path of the big two. You're going to feel something that you recognize, but different and original.
Yeah.
With top quality creators.
Absolutely. Nice.
Dave?
Yes.
Your next choice?
My mouse was being a bellend. So my next choice, my number 2 for tonight, is not going to be a shock to anybody who's aware that this is coming out. This is Forever Evil Omnibus. It's coming out on February the 11th. 1,288 pages of pure meat. And it's from DC Comics. It's one of my favorite DC events. Of all the events I've read so far, this one is the one I've read it twice. I think it might have been 3 times. But I've loved it. I loved it. I love seeing the bad guys take center stage. It doesn't do it to the way that Marvel did, which went on for what? Dark Reign went on for about a year and a half nearly, and people getting quite upset about seeing it gone that long. The bad guys take center stage, but it's for this story. So you've got a main 8-issue series, and there's a whole bunch of tie-in minis, because that's how we did it in those days. So you've got Justice League tie-ins, Suicide Squad, Justice League Dark, Justice League of America, Trinity of Sin, Phantom Stranger, Constantine, Pandora. Oh, it's Forever Evil was 1 to 7, my apologies. Arkham War 1 to 6, Rogues Rebellion 1 to 6. Rogues Rebellion is a brilliant standalone series on its own, which I mentioned in possibly our Halloween episode. Argus 1 to 6, that's not so great. Forever Evil Aftermath, Batman versus Bane. There is a ton of stuff, and it's all very, very villain centric. And these are DC's villains, slightly reimagined for the modern era because it's New 52 era, but it's in much the way people really, really like playing stuff like Arkham City. So you got a variation of those characters, so like an amped up version to what you used to know. That's kind of how I like to see a lot of the New 52 stuff. Yeah, we had that. Now we got this, and it's just kind of an amped up, modernized version. It's one of the most fun events. Seriously, I love this event so much. And it's Jeff Johns writing the main storyline, but you've got tons of other creators in there with so many different books. And it's great stuff. Just a great story. And it's a key moment in that whole Justice League run of Jeff Johns. So even though I think the miniseries is included in the Justice League by Jeff Johns New 52 Omnibus Volume 2.
Yes.
But this is the book that will flesh out the rest of the story for you if you want to go further into it. And I do recommend that you do, because there's hell of a lot of payoff.
Nice. I haven't read everything else included. I think I might have been reading some of the series that tie into it.
Yeah.
But like you said, the main series, the 1 to 7, David Finch on the art, just great. Right? It's again, there's a lot of highlights in that era. This is definitely one of them.
Easily. The one downside, just in all honesty, the one downside of this collection is it includes the Blight event, which was almost a crossover in itself within Forever Evil, and it's really long, and it's too long, and it's not good. They'd already collected that up in the Justice League Dark New 52 Omnibus. I think they could have just kept that in there. We didn't need to worry too much about it. So that's the only part of this that really didn't gel with me, but the rest of it is good fun. Really good fun.
Nice. Yeah, no, it good pick. I felt it was going to be on your list. I was hoping you would you'd go for it. It was on mine just in case, but I'm happy that you. Oh. Do we have a reading list for that?
Oh, very good point. Yes, if you do.
You see what I mean?
Oh, you're good, man. You're on it now. See?
No, I didn't even know. I just knew that if there's a reading list for it, we've got it.
We do have it. Yeah,
and it's probably a kick-ass reading list.
It's
so
very precise.
Yeah, to go along with the reading of the omnibus, it'll just enhance because there's certain things that it would be be meticulous in the production of a book sometimes. Like I think of Annihilation or the War of Kings sets where everything is included, but as you read
by
it,
series.
Yeah, which it helps keep it organized as far as where you are with character and 1 to 5, but with your reading order, you really know like this would come next.
Yeah.
In the whole story of this. So if you want to go in order, we got it.
That's just it. If you pick up this and you pick up the new 52 DC Villains Omnibus, which you can get lucky and still find it, that tells you where all those one shots fit in. Some of them don't belong in the crossover and some of them do. So if you jump on there, you can either go through the list and tick it off as you go and read it in order. But if you want to see how the story breaks down, because some of it you're going, when did this happen compared to this bit? Like surely they overlap, and they do. So that there is a breakdown of how the entire thing plays out chronologically as well.
Nice. See? Told you.
Thank you.
Reading order second to none. All right. Is it time for a commercial break?
Is it? Can it be?
Are we at that point of the show?
No, you've got one more.
I got one more. Okay. One more to go before commercial break. I am going to go with a classic Marvel series. A Marvel Epic Collection is coming out. I didn't write the date down, but it is, in my opinion, the classic Young Avengers series from Alan Heinberg and Jim Chung. I think it's the Children's Crusade would have been the series.
I don't know.
What
have you got?
That's usually what it goes as, but it's 1 to 12. What? You know what? I should really check because
I missed that completely.
I'm a big fan of the Young Avengers series that had come out in that omnibus that includes the Children's Crusade. It is really lovely stuff, really easy read. it ties in, like it gives Marvel a certain level of legacy characters that DC is known for, with like Teen Titans and things like that. Is it not coming? The look on your face is
I'm
like,
really confused.
okay,
What's the title of the book?
it's the Young Avengers. It's the
Is it an
oh,
omnibus?
no, it's an Epic Collection. It's supposed
Oh
to be
my
coming.
god! Right,
Yes,
hang on. Sorry.
Modern Epic Collection, not
I
what you
missed
think.
the Epic
So
Collection
here's
bit.
what I should put what it, because I always assume that it's the
Oh, got
Children's
you.
Crusade, but
Sorry.
it is Young
No, it's
Avengers 1 to 12
yeah.
from Alan Heinberg, and it may not be Jim Chung that is the artist for it, but
It
he,
is.
he is one of them. Yeah. So okay, I'm not crazy. And the release date for it is February 11th, same day as the Forever Evil omnibus. Okay.
When you said it's not what you think, I thought you were just telling me it's not what I think. So I completely misunderstood. Like, what is it then? If it's not what I think.
Okay, let's take it. Let me take it from top. My number 3 pick. I'm gonna go with modern day Marvel Epic Collection, Young Avengers, issues 1 to 12, from Alan Heinberg and Jim Chung on the art. It's really cool that they put this out there because it's a great series, great run. You can get it in the omnibus version. I don't know if it's still in print or not,
Oh, I'm not
that
sure.
version, but it's nice that it's being released in this format as well. And it ties. This is the series that goes in line with the Children's Crusade,
Uh,
issues 1 to 9.
no,
No, it doesn't.
no. The Children's Crusade happens like years later, about
Okay,
5, 6 years later.
but it's the same creative team. Like
The
they've
same
taken.
team. Yeah,
Yes.
I think the Children's Crusade is possibly co-written by Rosenberg. I can't remember, but they're quite separate from each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm talking about, but this is a good series.
I would just leave the Children's Crusade out, and we'll just. I'll
That's
cut
not
that bit out
included.
later.
Yeah, it's not included. But again, this is a safe bet for dipping into some modern Marvel in the 2000s, because the Epic collections were, the 90s and into the 60s or into the Silver Age. Like there was supposed to be some limit, but I think the success of the line, they said, why don't we just put some of the classic stuff that came out during this time, that this particular book, I think it's 2005, the series came out.
Yeah,
And it's a really good addition to the shelf if you're a fan of the Avengers or a
really
fan
good.
of this era of Marvel. When we talk about this era of Marvel, we're always like giving it all the praise because it's due, right? That Civil War era,
Yeah,
the Captain, Ed Brubaker on Cap, and then you got stuff like this that may not be
a
your
lady,
A-list. Yeah,
but
say
it's
that
all
again.
woman. Nothing. Forget it.
It may not be the Avengers, like it says, not what you think, but it definitely ties into the universe quite well.
Yeah, well, it's funny because they initially launched it as like a sidekicks theme thing.
Right.
So it had the advert for it, if I remember rightly, almost like implied that you were looking at a bit of a new sidekick for each of these characters or teen versions, which they kind of are, you know. But and they even kind of introduce the characters that way, but they become very much their own characters after that. And these 12 issues plus the Young Avengers special that takes place in the middle, they set these characters up really, really nicely, and mostly on their own. Like if you read this run, 1 to 12 and the special, you've got the characters. You know who they are, you know what they're about, and you understand their connection to the Avengers. But it isn't what people thought. People were kicking off when this started, when they announced it. They're like, how Marvel are officially out of ideas? Why are they doing sidekicks for their characters? They didn't. It was part of the ruse for the marketing, which can it's a tricky move because it can backfire.
Mm.
But it really proved itself. Jim Chung was the perfect artist for this, and plus villains wise, you get one of the best.
Yeah, no, it's a solid story through and through. Yeah, every version of that you can format that you can find of this book, whichever one you want, this is very worthwhile run. Alan Heinberg, Jim Chung together, like
Yeah.
you said, perfect artist for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, commercial break time.
Before I took commercial break, I have to
Yes.
say it's Forever Evil Omnibus is apparently coming out on Omega Bread's birthday, which he says is really appropriate. That's just tickled me. Like, yeah, it's like they knew, man. It's like they knew. Hang on, sorry, I'm just making a quick
That's
note.
okay.
Right. Now, bear with me. I'm going to have to steam through this because we haven't done a new to the Omniverse since the end of November, stroke start of December. So there's a few bits to get in. So strap on, because it's time to look at what's new to the Omniverse. So character reading orders, we've got Hulk Family 2005-2007, which covers Planet Hulk, World War Hulk, and all the Hulk and She-Hulk and Amadeus Cho appearances around there, plus some of the villains too. The Spider-Man 2099 reading order from 1992 to 97, which covers the original Earth 928 timeline before they started messing with it quite heavily in recent years. Events and crossovers. From Marvel, we've got Countdown for Counter-Earth 1972, which introduced Adam Warlock for the first time as Adam Warlock. Kraven's Last Hunt, which we just mentioned earlier, 1987, the Spider-Man classic. Martian Ultimatum has just been added, which is 2006 to 2008. There's loads of stories over those years, which are the build-up to the, frankly, horrible Ultimatum event, which kind of ruined the Ultimate Universe. Updated on there, World War Hulk and War of Kings. So they've got a lot of additions to those two reading orders, and they're kind of more in line with how I do them now. Reading orders, events from DC. We've got All My Enemies Against Me, the Batman story from 1983. Strangers in Smallville, which is obviously Superman-centric, from 2000. The entire New 52 Futures End reading order. So that 48-issue series plus all the 52 one-shots, it tells you exactly how it all fits together, plus an epilogue that most people don't know exists. So that's from 2014. And Lazarus Planet, the 2023 DC extravaganza. From IDW, we've got Devastation from 2007, which is the third part of their Transformers trilogy, their original Transformers run. And that's that. Podcast and video. Whew, what haven't we got? The Ghost Machine tapes, second entry, which is the collector's item special with Brian Hitch, of all people. Looky there. We've got Eric's interview with Bedo, the artist who combines his love of comics and hip-hop. Our top 10 focused on Ed Brubaker's comics. Incoming for January 2025. Our Speakeasy about the our Speakeasy episode that focuses on the Superman Legacy trailer. A new manga spotlight shoujo manga episode looking at some releases for January to March 2025 with our resident manga expert Raf. And the top 10 collected editions from 2024, part 1. Part 2 is out very, very soon. Hopefully before the end of the week. Features, top 10 manga for 2024, which is the Kono manga oh my god, Araf, I'm so sorry, I'm going to butcher this for you. Starting again. Features, we've got the top 10 manga from 2024, which is the Kono manga Gugoi guide. Raph, I'm so sorry, man. He put such nice work into it, and I'm going, the what? I can't say it.
Dave speaks very well until he has to say a name.
As soon as it's anything in another language, I'm fucked. The Kono manga Gugoi guide. Did I do it? Anyway. Also, finally, we have an entry that will take you through to Eric's guest spot on the Comic Shenanigans podcast. Whew.
Wow. Good job. It ain't easy being Dave sometimes.
Was it?
Hey, you did it.
Did it.
Good job.
Cheers, man.
All right. Check out that website, omniversecomics.guide. We appreciate your love.
There's a few bits on there for you.
Dave?
Oh, hi. Oh, yes, my numero 3. Now, for number 3 tonight, we're going back to Dark Horse. It felt like 2022 was our year of Dark Horse. You know, big style. It really did. And while there's been some great stuff that's come out since, it's 2025 is looking like the year they're really going to peak. And it's starting off with a collection written by Tom King, Bilquis Evely on the art. And it's Helen of Windhorn, Behave Yourself, Omega Bread. I believe it is a 6-issue miniseries, and it's a very ethereal-looking series. I know nothing about it, but it's by the creative team that brought you Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Despite that, it looks like it might be quite good. So I'm going to read out the synopsis, or at least a chunk of it. Following the tragic death of her late father, C.K. Cole, the esteemed pulp writer and creator of the popular warrior character Othan, Helen Cole is called back to her grandfather's enormous and illustrious estate, Windhorn House. Stop it, Omega Bread. Scarred by Cole's Untimely passing and lost in a new strange world, Helen wreaks drunken havoc upon her arrival. However, her chaotic ways begin to soften as she discovers a lifetime of secrets hiding within the myriad rooms and hallways of the expansive manor. For outside its walls, within the woods, dwell the legendary adventurers that were once locked away within her father's stories. Yeah. I'm available if you want me to do more of your synopses, Mr. Tom King. Just give me a shout, yeah?
Nice. What's the release date for that?
The release date for that, very good question, sir. The release date for that is February 2025. Sorry, 25th of February 2025. I didn't need to say the year, I was just making sure it was clear. And it's at 176 of your Earth pages in a nice standard size hardcover.
Can you say the title one more time for Omega Bread?
Helen of Windhorn.
Nice.
Now, he does say that I think I know her sister, Ellen of Gustycock. Apparently she's a tease.
Oh, boy. You guys should start a whole new, different type of podcast. I'll tune in for that one.
Yeah, I think that would be banned quite quickly. And I don't think it would be down to me.
I don't think so. Nice, very nice. It's always I'm always excited when top tier creators take the creator owned route and kind of do the passion project. Not that you're not doing their passion project when they work for big companies, but now this is their child.
Yeah,
they've got to put the
full freedom. Let's see what they can do. Yeah,
exactly.
It's a beautiful looking book as well. The art on it the art was great on Supergirl. I just didn't gel with the story.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, we should talk about that. I want to. Yeah, we should talk about that. Okay. Very, very cool. Nice pick.
Cheers, mate.
Number four. This is a controversial story, but a classic DC pre-crisis era, and that is
I'm aroused.
DC Finest, which is their equivalent of the Marvel Epic Collection, so you get an idea of the size of book that you're getting and what it is going to be collecting.
Girth.
Yes. And it's the Teen Titans Judas Contract.
Oh, nice job.
Which, again, it's one of those stories in the DC universe that will always be referred to. It has, serious ramifications. I guess it was the DC version or equivalent of the Dark Phoenix saga, where something happened to the team that really put them at a breaking point.
Yeah.
And it's a very different story, but also something that at the time people spoke about, and it had left ramifications on the team. At a story of betrayal, a story of friendship. Very there's a whole storyline in there that I don't know how they got away with it. Right? It's
it's mystifying, that one. We talked about that recently as well. I'm just going like, how did they get away with that story? Because it like,
there's a whole other side to Deathstroke that makes you raise an eyebrow in today's world. Yeah. I mean, it would have back then too, but maybe I don't know. Anyways, I don't want to. If you haven't read the story, I don't want to spoil it, but it is a very significant story in all of those characters that are part of the Teen Titans. It's a hallmark moment for Cyborg, for Starfire,
for Robin,
Dick Grayson.
Yeah,
Dick Grayson. It's a big transition in his life. It's one of those moments where, that's when that happened to that character. So
it's a lot, isn't it?
There's a lot that happens there. Yeah,
I mean that's only 4 issues of it as well.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is a, like you said before, this is a beefy one. It's got 500, almost 600 pages in it. I mean, sometimes compendiums have this many pages. You've got issues. So the New Teen Titans, 33 to 40, and then the title changes to the Tales of the Teen Titans.
That's right.
So it's really issues 33 to 47. It's a good chunk of issues with some of the annuals and other tie-ins that are associated with the story. And again, one of those pre-crisis. It was one of those series I feel that was worth reading pre-crisis in the sense of the serialization and the soap opera aspect of the characters carried on, where I feel there were other things maybe during that time that didn't take themselves quite as serious in that level of continuity DC wise.
Yeah, I think that's
This book
fair.
was one of them that it really mattered.
Yeah, and
So
the creative team,
Marv Wolfman,
another gem
George
of a team.
Perez.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, if you like the Uncanny X-Men, you're probably going to like this one.
you can see why they mashed those two teams together for a team up book. You know,
Yeah,
it's perfect
exactly.
sense. So I think Teen Titans may have been. I could be wrong, but it was definitely up there in terms of sales in the 80s.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was X-Men I for sure was up there.
Yeah,
I don't know don't quote me on that, but I think the Teen Titans were its competition.
yeah.
And in the Marvel vs DC omnibus that recently was released in 2024, they have the team up between X-Men and Teen Titans for that very reason,
Uh-huh.
right? So, yeah, this is a definite story to check out if you're a fan of team books, 80s comics, and stories that left a mark within that universe. To this day. To this day,
To
it's
this
referenced.
very day.
Yeah.
Nice. God, pre-crisis 80s. Oh, DC, come on. That's some good
It's right up
stuff.
Dave's alley. Yeah.
Right up my alley. I'm really hoping, because there's like issues of Vigilante and stuff in there, because Vigilante spun out of Teen Titans
Right.
originally, because he was a character in there before he became Vigilante. So like all these books are really nice and tightly joined together. I'm really hoping they do actually no, I'm not gonna say that. I might put that in the back pocket for our most wanted DC Omnis episode.
Ooh, spoiler. Nice. I like
Yeah.
it.
Okay,
Cool, cool. You're number 4.
you want my number 4, don't you? You
I do.
dirty little. Right. So my number 4 tonight is a shock and a surprise for me, man. I don't know why. I think it's probably because I've been drawn towards characters like Adam Strange and that kind of pulpy sci-fi space age stuff. For some reason, that's starting to really appeal to me at the moment. I think it's because it's like there's something kind of classic and innocent about it, despite
Right.
the fact that the film of this character was far from innocent. So this is Flash Gordon. It's volume 1, Escape from Planet Death. It's by Mad Cave. It's by Jeremy Adams, Will Conrad, and a host of other creators. I'm not sure who's doing what on this book, because I thought Will Conrad was more of a writer at this point. Lee Luffridge is mentioned amongst the creative team as well, so I'm trying to tell if it's his art on this book. I'm looking. Oh, hang on. Will Conrad is the artist, but Jeremy Adams, who's been writing The Flash lately, was he writing Green Lantern as well? I can't quite recall. But yeah, he's the writer on this series, so it's a modern take on the classic Flash Gordon. Don't know why I'm suddenly interested in Flash Gordon, but I think those other reasons may be behind it. My God, that film was pervy, wasn't it?
I never seen it.
Oh my God, it's just so riddled with innuendo, and I didn't notice as a kid. When I got older, I just thought, oh my God. And I realized like why I had a thing about Ming the Merciless daughter in that.
Yeah.
And I got older and I realized, oh yeah, this explains a hell of a lot in your life. So I might watch that again after the show before I go to bed, you know what I mean? Anyway, this is coming out on
Full of innuendo, just like the comment section.
just
right
like
now.
the
I love
comment
it.
section. Oh my God, I'm quite glad we're not saving that. I was saying, oh, it'd be nice to run the comments with the show when it no. So February the 11th, it's coming out. It's 160 pages. It's like I say, it's by Mad Cave. I don't know how many issues are included. I think that's probably going to be like your 6 or 7 issues. It's not very clear on this particular site that I'm using, and will never buy books from. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Lex
That's
Luthor,
me.
for in the
Yeah,
real
that's me.
world.
Yeah.
What's his name?
I'm-
Oh, Jeffrey Bezos, CEO, entrepreneur. So anyway, that's Flash Gordon Volume 1, Escape from Planet Death. Something's drawing me, dude. So I'm gonna pick that up. It looks like there's a Defenders of the Earth one coming up as well. And while I kind of watched that cartoon as a kid, I didn't love it. So that was Mandrake, the Magician, Flash Gordon, and the Phantom all together, which is kind of like the Avengers of bronze. That's what, Silver Age, maybe Golden Age. I think some of them. I think Phantom predates Batman.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're doing some of this stuff, but the Flash Gordon that's appealing to me right now.
I get it. Yeah, I'm curious about the Adam Strange. I forget the title of it. The one that you did a spotlight on.
Oh, Strange Adventures.
Yeah, not
No?
the Tom King one. The
No.
one that they released a hardcover for. You did a nice video for it.
Oh, the Silver Age omnibus.
No, I should just put my glasses on and read it on my shelf. I'm staring at it. It's the one that Andy Kubert worked on. Yeah, that one.
Between Two Worlds.
Between Two Worlds. That's what I thought it was, but I didn't want to.
Which is my autobiography.
But I'm curious to read that and see what it's like, because there isn't a ton of Adam Strange stuff to read. He's featured in the 52 series, which was quite fun.
Yeah.
There, and I know it spun out into some other things, but not
before
a ton.
that as well, it was
Rann-Thanagar
War, and there was an Adam Strange miniseries that led into the Rann-Thanagar War thing. So he was kind of about there. He got a nice time in the spotlight there.
Yeah, he got some shine.
Otherwise, he's quite sporadic.
Yeah, very strange.
Huh?
We intend that pun. But yeah, no, I get it. I like that sort of pulpy sci-fi stuff too. It's all kind of never been done quite yet in that, you know what I mean? So it's all kind of fresh ideas and strange. And I don't mean that pun. I don't mean, but the Flash Gordon stuff, it's right up that alley.
Yeah,
so I get
there's something about it. If you retain the kind of the sensibilities of where it came from and give it a modern spin, sometimes you can get some nice stuff. You know, just a different take on these things.
Yeah, sometimes it just needs that fresh coat modernization, and you get something really cool. Cool, very nice. Okay, I'm gonna save one of my picks for like an alternate at the end.
Okay.
But the one I'll go with now, it's a book one, which I always like being able to refer to a book one. And this is the Justice League International book one reprinting of the J.M. DeMatteis and Keith Giffen, Kevin Maguire series. That was the first official Justice League of the post-crisis DC era, which was a very different kind of looking Justice League, different approach. It didn't have all of your big name top tier characters. There was a lot of new characters, C-list characters, a couple of A-list, but one or two. It wasn't built around Superman and Wonder Woman and Batman. You didn't even know who it was built around. It was a real smorgasbord, as they say. I don't know if they say that in England.
They do. Okay. I can't say it though, because I don't 100% know if you do it as with a schmore or a s'more, so I just don't say it. Plus, I always think of it's more like the gas board, or like I don't know what it means, so I don't say it. But well done. Thank you for. I'm actually quite pleased that you got that into a sentence. That's quite amused me. Well done.
Well, yeah, it's a smorgasbord. A smorgasbord.
Shut up, Dave. You can say it.
Of these characters that, if you've read it at all, there's a level of humor and zaniness that is different than any other Justice League, but also a certain I don't know how to describe it, but a soap opera factor, but there are still consequences. Like there are things that matter that they're involved in. It's just a functioning of a team that's not at the space station watchtower.
No,
it's very
it's very
a little
grounded, even though it's got some like space level characters. So you've got, I think initially, like some of the characters you'll see are characters like Dr. Fate. Batman is on the list. Captain Marvel comes on soon after. You've got Booster Gold, Blue Beetle, Guy Gardner. You've got the new Dr. Light, the female Dr. Light rather than the villain Dr. Light. Black
Did you
Canary.
say Martian Manhunter?
Martian Manhunter, I think is Martian Manhunter's
he's there
in
too.
it. Did I say Mr. Miracle? Big Barda.
Yeah, like there you go. It's a mix of all the different corners of DC, right? You got the New Gods, you've got Booster Gold from the future, Blue Beetle, you got that and that. All of these really, really cool. I don't know how to describe it, but these little cool side stories and characters and things that later on, like if you read Infinite Crisis, so much of the relationships that people have within Infinite Crisis storyline are built in some of these stories right here.
Yeah.
And you can't go wrong with JMD and Keith Giffen, Kevin Maguire.
Perfectly
Perfectly cast book. they didn't. I don't even think know how it was all going to work out because I think Kevin Maguire was relatively new at the time.
It might well have been, yeah.
So,
But what's weird about it is like it makes no sense. Yeah, if you did that now, look what they did with Avengers in the 2000s. It's not really working. Let's make it as bombastic and cinematic as possible. Whereas you go back to 1987 and like, okay, we've got to like properly launch the Justice League. Let's make it a comedy.
yeah,
That
it's
makes
an
no
interesting
sense.
choice. Yeah, it's true, and it's not a like people refer to this as the Bwahaha era
Yeah, but
because
just because it's funny though, it doesn't mean it's not got gravitas at times.
exactly that's the perfect way to put it. It has the gravitas, and the stories do matter,
Yeah,
but there is a certain level of, I mean, you look at the characters involved. Guy Gardner, these impudent people that are in there, right?
yeah.
Booster Gold. It's just you're gonna have a clash of
There's a room
personality.
full of egos, but also
Oh, it's
some
great.
non-egos like Martian Manhunter, and it kind of what's nice as well is it really cements the post-crisis era of putting it all in one universe. Because before that, Captain Marvel, stroke Shazam, was in a separate universe. He was Earth S, so like this really signals that everything is now in one place.
Right. That's a very good point. Highly recommend it. If you've listened to any of the podcasts that I've done over the years, I always speak highly of JMD, but it's well deserved. And this is one of those series that he did for a long time. There's a real good sample size of what kind of a writer he is, and when he collaborates, he's a great collaborator, and him and Keith Giffen are two of the best,
Yeah,
right?
that they
Plot-wise,
are.
script-wise, really good. So,
If anyone was wondering if they're thinking they've seen this before, they have released this book before. They got up to volume
yes.
2 and then they stopped. Now, because DC are getting really, really consistent with finishing runs, I think that's the intent here. So this is probably going to be a 6-book series because it's mostly half an omnibus in each of these books.
Yeah.
So that's what to expect.
That's fair. That's a fair assessment. Yeah. So, and got a lot of story in it, a lot of issues in these style that they print. This isn't a DC Finest, I don't think. This is just going to be a Justice
no,
League
it's just
International line.
Yeah.
Yeah. So check it out. And book 1, good way to start. And it does say 2025 version.
Yes.
So to your point, I think there's a commitment to continuing.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want me to drop my 5?
Drop it. Drop it and show it.
Okay, I'm doing a bit of an Eric Anthony. I'm going to show it. You're not going to believe it. I'm going to pick something that's a bit more of a left field stab in the dark. No idea what to expect from this, but there's so many books coming out in February that are, what's that? I haven't heard of that. I haven't heard of that. Or like with this one, I hadn't heard of the book, but I recognized the name of the writer, and I realized that I've seen Kurt Pyer's name come up so many times, but I still haven't read one of his books. So I'm going to change that this year and give his stuff a go. The book is called Simulation Theory. It's out on February the 11th. It's 2025, obviously. Why am I saying what year it is? We all know what year it is. 152 pages from Dark Horse. I'm going to blurb it. It's blurbing time. If you had the chance to live forever, would you? Would you, though? That's what New Life is offering. That's NU, like, new metal. Do you remember new metal? Oh, don't we just? A chance for transconscious migration, transferring of your mind and consciousness into the metaverse inside an avatar of your choosing. The opportunity to leave the real world and live in a digital one. When Ash's real life gets a bit too hot to handle, she's offered help from a friend who happens to be her ex. But when she enters her new life and finds her ex there, they quickly realize the simulation may be more than they bargained for. I love a hook, and that's a hook. So that's got me drawn in. It's one and done, as far as I'm aware. And it's an interesting concept, and I want to give this a go. And it obviously takes that real modern approach to sci-fi.
Yeah, it's one of the descriptions. Ready Player One meets Chinatown in the sci-fi conspiracy thriller.
Nice.
I'm in.
There's something's going on there. So I mean, Kurt Pyers. So the art is by Daryl Nickerum, I think. Apologies if I got that wrong, but his name just keeps popping up. So I mean, if you haven't heard of of Kurt Pyers. He's written stuff like Youth, Indigo Children, Memoria. They might not be books you've heard of, but he's putting loads out there. So I just want to see what he's up to, frankly. I'm just being a bit of a nosy bastard.
Yeah, listen, this type of stuff is right up my alley lately.
Yeah.
I think about this stuff often, and I'm always into the stories that might tap into those concepts and theories. Yeah.
It sounds very Black Mirror, doesn't it?
Yeah, I like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Very cool. Good pick. Good final pick.
Sorry, Omega Bread. His name is pronounced Perez as opposed to Pyers. My apologies. Kurt Perez.
Nice. There you see, that's why we need the fine gentlemen that tune in. We need you guys. What would the show be without you? Other than the distraction that they cause. Anything that almost made the list that you didn't mention that you just like to give a quick shout out to?
A few books did tickle my fancy. Now I'm going to try and keep it short. There are 5. So it could have been, if you picked all my books tonight, I had serious backup. But I'll keep it short. Absolute Power from DC is the final event from their kind of more modern era before All In launches. I do want to give that a read, but I'm not as excited. I think, is that written? I can't remember if it's written by Mark Waid, though, or by Joshua Williamson. I'd be more excited if it's by Mark Waid, I'll be honest. Flash by Mark Waid Omnibus Volume 2 is on its way, so it's good news. If everyone's thinking, are we ever going to see a volume? Yes, you are going to see Volume 2. Remote Space by Cliff Rathburn. Something about that really appealed to me. It's from Image Comics. It looks like it kind of veers into that 90s Image vibe again. There's a few books coming out from Image that are doing that, and they're doing it incredibly well. Looking at you, local man. Beasts of Burden Omnibus from Dark Horse. That's collecting the whole Beast of Burden thing. If you haven't read any of that or even heard of it, this is a good chance just to pick up everything for a reasonable price. And from Marvel, I don't often pick those guys these days, Punisher Kills the Marvel Universe. So that is the Punisher versus the Marvel Universe miniseries that was more recent, I think like 10 years ago maybe, which I know very little about. And the Garth Ennis written Punisher Kills the Marvel Universe one-shot with Doug Braithwaite. And it's just a murderous rampage, frankly. And who doesn't love one of those?
Need one of those every now and then.
Yeah, apparently so. How about you?
I had one, which was Astro City Volume 6. I've collected the first 5 volumes. I've read Volume 1 thus far. I intend to get through them. But Volume 6 is, I think this is the last edition for now. I just looked up what they've, what the length of the run was. It ends at issue 52. So I wonder if this could be the final piece of the set for now, because it was 2018, the last one. Yeah, so
I think it is.
I got to add it to the collection. It's an obvious choice. I don't know the quality of it, but
apparently it's fantastic. So you shouldn't be disappointed.
No, Kurt Busiek, Brent Anderson, and Alex Ross, I think throughout the entire series.
I believe so.
That's always very exciting for me. I love when two creators stick together through the whole run of it. As long as it might take, they get it done.
Yeah.
There was supposed to be an omnibus for this.
Yeah, not sure what's happening. No idea.
Not sure what's happening, but this is a really good option to read this series in a organized, orderly format. Because I know that some of the stories would sometimes jump from maybe an issue 8 continues in an issue 11, the way they were used to be printed before.
Oh, right.
So I wasn't sure how to continue collecting those series, but this, book 1, book 6, you got it in the right order.
Nice and easy. And loads of one-shots and specials and annuals, and it's all done it for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Incidentally, thank you to Omega Bread once again. Do you want? Should I just leave my seat and he can just sit here? Absolute Power is by Mark Waid and Dan Mora. So that's the reason for my excitement levels, dude.
There you
Waid
go.
and Mora, you can't go wrong.
I gotta catch up on the world's finest stuff.
2024.
Yeah.
And probably into 25, frankly.
That's nice. I'm happy Mark Waid is back at DC. Not that I have a problem
acing
with
it as well.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah.
I gotta catch up on what he's been working on because I'm a huge fan. One of those, he's on that level of bucket list interviews I'd love to have. So let's try and make it happen. Put it out there, guys. Let's put it out there.
Stick it
Anyways, everyone who tuned in, we appreciate it as
Cheers.
always. We give us the subscribe, hit the subscribe, the thumbs up if you enjoyed the show, and if there's anything that we helped you along your way to finding a new book to read, that's why we do this.
Yeah, shout us
Part of
out
the fun.
for doing
Yeah,
so.
for sure.
If you can, that'd be lovely. Thank you.
That would be appreciated. And visit us at omniversecomics.guide. Like we said, a lot of the things that were listed today that are coming out in Omnis and whatnot, we've got reading orders to help you in your reading experience.
Yeah.
So visit us there.
If we don't, we will.
Eventually there will be. Bit by bit by bit,
Yeah.
we're taking over the Omniverse.
Taking over the Omniverse.
Dave,
Yeah,
as
what?
always, my friend,
Oh, yeah.
always,
Thanks, dude.
always a pleasure. Everyone that's with us on Twitch, always a pleasure. We are going to be taking a week off next week.
We are.
But we'll be back. We will be back.
We shall return.
All right. Everyone, we love you. Dave, love you, pal.
You too, my dude.
Later.
See you soon. Incidentally, I believe that is the concluding volume of Astro City Bread. I'm just not 100% sure, but I think so.
Yeah, I think it is. Because I was gonna pick it, I looked it up just to make sure that I wasn't. It's the end of the commitment. Volume 6 is the final one.
Yeah.
So at least I felt
fairly
okay about
certain you're
recommending that. But
yeah. No, that was all. Just wanted to, because I think Eric did. We did mention it, but I just wanted to make sure that you answered, especially seeing as you've been so helpful tonight
yeah, thank you.
with very dubious jokes. Thanks again, all y'alls. We'll see you soon. We'll see you in the chat on the
See
Discord.
you in the Discord, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Night night.